spinning.
That's not good.
No. An error occurred. Wait a moment and try again. Oh, did it work?
Says we're live.
Okay, good. That scared me. everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. I just saw a comment from Ginger Frazier that it's cold in Florida, going to be like 37 there tonight. That's cold for Florida.
Welcome to our world, Ginger.
Yeah. We don't feel bad for you.
No.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into day 2 of our barn quilt workshop. We've got some fun planned for you today. It's good to see you all. And wow, what an awesome response we had yesterday, Linda.
I
A
know,
lot
it's
of people,
exciting.
it is. The comments are fantastic. I don't know if you saw this, but I posted in the group, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday? And I think most people are blown away by the back of the quilts.
Whoa.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Mhm.
So yeah, the edge to edge quilting on the back seemed to be a favorite. So that's awesome. Someone said they had 9 inches of snow. Oh dear, really?
Oh, today it's 70. Oh, they must be in Colorado or somewhere like that.
Yeah. Sounds like you need a sew along, right?
Yeah.
Give you something to do during those cold winter months. So, I have a couple housekeeping items. I'm going to pop in here real quick. First, just a reminder that we are streaming live in YouTube as well as Facebook, and the replays will be available in both places. Seems a frequently asked question is, will the replays remain available? And the answer is yes, they absolutely will. The next question along those same lines is, I want to do this. I love the idea of a sew along, but I can't commit to being live with you at that time. And the answer to that is yes, the replays will be available for the sew along portion as well. So we'll get you're covered either way. Now we do have a giveaway today, which I'll show the keyword here in just a little bit. So make sure that you have gone to streamyard.com/Facebook to give permission so that we can see your comments. You only have to do that once. So if you've done it with us or anyone else before, you should be good to go. The next housekeeping item and reminder is we do have that limited time pricing and bundle bonus that expires. That's not supposed to say West, it's supposed to say East Coast time at midnight tonight. And number 3 is really exciting. I'm excited. Nina's back. Thank you, Nina.
Yay!
Annie and I were feverishly fielding phone calls and emails yesterday after the live, but Nina's back. The very best way, you guys, if you need anything, if you have a question or need help with something, is to contact her directly. We try really hard to keep up on Facebook, in our Facebook group, but man, there's a lot of you in there and there's a lot of comments. So if you don't want to get lost in the Facebook shuffle, the very best way always is to contact us directly, and her number is on the screen there. So yes, Kathy Smith just said, thank you for the fabric requirement PDF too. So I know that that is also helpful. All right. And real quick, I also want to remind you that we have different shops throughout the country who have this in stock and they're ready to sell it to you. They also have the bonus. They also have the free gift, and they are eager to help you out. And also, if you pick it up from there, you don't have to pay shipping. So check out your local quilt shop. And I know Linda's store is on there too. So she's got it there. All right.
And I saw someone said they picked it up at Times Square sewing yesterday. So that's awesome. So thank you for supporting your local shop.
Yes, we love that. It's important. And I think Sue from Times Square. We saw her at Market.
Yes, we did.
So, all right. And then just a quick reminder for anyone who might not have been around here yesterday, these are the quilts. And Linda was like, should we show them? I said, I got slides. So this will give you a nice idea that you're getting both these quilts on the USB or in the download, the Rolling Star and the Meadow Star. And now that Linda, yesterday, I can't keep these straight, right? But yesterday you said the Rolling Star, it's a circle. It's like, and now I'm like, yeah, I got it. All right. So, Miss Linda, what have you got planned for us today? Because I know you got something up your sleeve you want to share with us.
Yes, and I wore long sleeves today. So, well, so there's a lot of something up my sleeve.
Okay.
So, I did jump the gun a little bit yesterday. I trimmed the block and I wasn't supposed to do that till today. So I whipped out another one and we're going to cover trimming again, just in case you're new. It doesn't hurt to review. So that's what I'll do. And then we're going to talk about our strip stick, which is a new pressing stick that we have. They're not new. They've been around a while. I've been using them for quite a few years. A good friend introduced me to them. And they're great for regular quilting but they're really great for what we do. And I'll show you why in a minute. And then we're going to talk about joining our blocks together to create, I'm going to create a pillow with these blocks. Yes. So we'll get started. First of all, if you want to make my demo cam big,
you got it.
We're going to trim this block up. So I'm going to use the Trimmer by George 3.0. And this is the third version of our Trimmer by George. It's 4.5 inches wide. The 2.0 was 6.5, and it's still 12 inches long. So it's a really handy, easy size to use. It's also got a metal edge on it that's crimped. So hopefully you can see that crimping right there. And this is used to protect your quilt block front from being accidentally cut while you're trimming. Because before we had the Trimmer by George, we'd pull back our top fabric, we'd either cut it with a scissor or a rotary cutter, and inevitably you would cut a little hole in your fabric. So this metal crimped edge prevents that from happening. So what we do is we pull this back, and then we give it a little, I like to say, a shimmy right up to that basting stitch. Lay it down flat, and you want to make sure you have no fabric sticking out right there, which we don't. And then we want to use a 60mm rotary cutter to trim right along that metal edge. It needs to be 60 because the blade is taller and it gives you more of a chance to trim without tipping your blade. If you do a 45, you're going to tip it like this, which could cause you to cut your fabric. It could also damage your blade. So we trimmed off one side. I'm going to do the other 3 sides real quick. What I'm doing is trimming away the battleizer from the very back of the block because we don't want that bulk in our seams. Last side. Goes really quick. I tend to do these when another block is stitching away in my machine. So this is what it looks like now, and on the back side we see this. So the battleizer is completely removed from the seams, and then we're going to take our Trimmer by George, flip it over, and now we have ruler markings on this side. So we have a 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to put that 1/4 inch mark right on the edge of my battleizer, and I'm going to trim all 4 seams, leaving a 1/4 inch. So it's that quick and easy to trim up your block.
Voila.
Voila. So there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about some pressing. I went ahead, just to save a little bit of time today, I went ahead and stitched these 2 blocks to stitch it like this. So I've sewn these 2 together and these 2 together, and we're going to talk about pressing them. But I think before I press them, I'm going to remove my cutting mat here. That would not be good to do pressing on my cutting mat. So what usually happens when you're pressing these is I always press to one side. I get that question a lot. Do you press it open? I don't press it open just because it's a little bulkier than a regular quilt. And I think it's harder to press it open. And I think it's harder to also join the blocks together when they're pressed open. So what I do is I'll press this one this way, and I'll press this one this way. So they are opposing each other. And normally, if you don't have a strip stick, I would just use the tip of my iron and press it like that. But with this little stick, it's got a flat side and then it has a rounded side. So I'll put the rounded side up. The flat side stays right on the ironing board. And then I can put my whole iron right on top of it, and it doesn't smush. That's a technical term, smushing. It does not smush my battleizer or my wool because of the rounded edge. And I do like to do a little bit of Mary Ellen's, I call it starch, but it's some Mary Ellen's Best Pressed. And then you've got a really nicely pressed seam. If you want to give it a little go over on the right side, you can, but it doesn't flatten out all of your quilting. So I love that. So that one's going to go that direction. And this one is going to go this direction. So I always lay them next to each other because I don't trust myself. Make sure I'm going the right way. And with the curved side up, I can put the whole surface of my iron on there and not worry about smashing my quilting. A little bit of spray starch, and the starch just makes it stick down. It works great. I'm kind of a pressing snob. I love to press.
That's a very strange thing.
No, I think a lot of quilters would agree with me. Okay, so now we'll talk about, I did kind of gloss over the pinning and the stitching, but now that I have these 2 rows pressed, we're going to sew these 2 together. So what we'll do is we'll put it right sides together, and hopefully you can see the water soluble thread there, which is my basting line. That's important. We're going to look at that. And I'm going to use some nice heavy duty pins. This one has a slight bend in it. We'll get rid of it. And I'm going to put a pin exactly where the seam is. You can see that pin coming out right on my basting line where the seam is. And I'll come across to the other seam in exactly the same place. So unlike regular quilting where you match up your cut edge, I'm actually matching up my stitching line. So with that pin in place, I give it a pinch to hold it nice and tight. And this is where my seam is. So I'm going to take one pin, an extra pin, and place it right there. Now that that's held in place, I'll take this one out and place this pin right there. So it's holding down my seam allowance. And then I go to the next corner, and I put a pin exactly where my basting line is, right in the corner. Come across and do this basting line right in the corner. Give it a pinch. Take a pin and put the pin in. Then I'll do one in the, usually in a block this size, I'll do like 3 in the center. So I'm going to do 1 in the center first. I'm putting the pin exactly on the basting line, kind of where that center mark is. And I'll come across to the next block, put it in the same place, give it a pinch, put in another pin, take out the pin that was straight. And then I'll go in the middle of this side, do the same thing. So when you do your rolling star with the Y seams, this is really, really important that you get this right, and they will go together beautifully. I promise. I saw a few people comment that they're going to try the Y seams. I'm hoping they do.
Yeah. I think you've given them a little bit of a challenge, threw down a challenge yesterday, and I think they're going to do it.
Well, when you call somebody a chicken, maybe they want to try it now, huh?
I could go one of 2 ways. You never know.
That could go, yeah, you never know. You never know how that's going to go. So again, I always do the corner first before I try to do anything in the middle, because it's important that that lines up. And you want to use, I said it before, but I'll reiterate, I love these kind of pins. A lot of quilters will use these, but they're too thin and too fine. So you want to use something with some substance to it, because you are, after all, pinning, batting, and a couple layers of fabric. So you got to have a little bit of substance to your
So
pin.
someone asked, will you be doing a demo on the Y seams? And I have a feeling it'll be
Oh
part of the
yeah.
sew along.
Oh yeah.
So not during the workshop here, but when we start the sew along in January, there would definitely be some teachings on that.
There will, but what I'm showing you right now is really important to learn, because what you want to do, let me see if I can show you. So this seam here, you can see I stitched it previously. I don't know if you can see the brown stitching line. It's pretty much exactly on my basting line, and it's on my basting line on both sides. So if you can master this, you can do Y seams.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so I have this all pinned. I'm going to take it to my machine and stitch it, and I'll be back, okay? So you
All
can do a
right.
song and dance, Aubrey.
Oh, just what I love to do. No, if you guys heard me sing, you wouldn't want it. Okay. So I want to just kind of recap some of the things that we went over yesterday. We tend to get questions, so I like to make sure that we just kind of recap for you. But basically, this collection comes with 2 quilts. The first one we're gonna talk about is the Rolling Star, and this particular one is the one that isn't necessarily all blocks like you think about, traditional blocks. Oh, you're done already, aren't you, Linda? Are you ready already?
No, I muted
Oh, okay.
myself so you wouldn't hear
Okay.
the machine.
Okay, no problem. All right, so the Rolling Star, I have the sizing there too. So the largest file size for the small, you would need at least a 5.04 by 6.05 in terms of your hoop size. It needs to fit that file size. And then it goes up to the largest one, which is the 10.44 by 12.4. So just kind of keep that in mind. But and then this one here has different sizing, different quilt, all still included. This Meadow Star actually has 64 blocks. This one is the one that's more like blocks, traditional grid, whereas the other one has different shapes. So not necessarily when we say blocks, they're kind of all different things, triangles, diamonds, and that sort of thing. So my favorite part is it's easy and fast and simple to put together. And you can see that when you look at it, it's beautiful but simple all at the same time. So I love that about it. And then I think Linda has this in her sewing room too, so she can hold it up at some point during today. But the edge to edge quilting on the back sounds like it's a hit. I think this is one of the favorite things from day one that people are really loving, this option that is included along with the 2 different quilts. Linda, you want the camera back
Sure.
on your demo?
So, yeah, me too, because I want to make a comment about Kathy. Kathy on YouTube, she says, I've been using the trimmer by George, but sometimes my seam isn't quite 1/4 inch, so I must need practice. Well, here's the good news. It doesn't need to be a 1/4 inch, because you're not matching your cut edges, you're matching your stitching lines. So if your seam is a little bit off, it's your width of your seam I'm talking about, it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. That's what
Ta-da!
I was showing you when I was trimming that, and when I was pinning, that I'm not matching. You can do my demo cam now.
Okay.
Um, I'm not matching my fabric cut edges. As you can see here, my cut edges don't match, but look at my brown stitching line. On this side is right on my basting stitch, and on this side it's right on my basting stitch. So that's what you need to master to get really good joining.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now that I have this seam stitched and I have checked and I've made sure that that brown stitching line, I have brown thread in my machine in the top and the bobbin, and it's a good idea to have a little bit contrasting thread so you can see, because everything else is white from my bobbin thread. And I'm very happy with how it's matching. The center seam is close enough for me. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. And now I'm going to press that. I'm going to use my strip stick again with my rounded side up, put the flat side on the ironing board, and I can use the full weight and width of my iron to press the seam.
Kathy said, thank you. That makes so much sense. She's going to focus on that now.
Yeah, focus on that. Don't be too concerned. It's quilting, but it's not like regular quilting. Okay, so there we go. So look how nicely that lays. And because we used the trimmer and got away a lot of the bulk from the seam, there's very, very little bulk right here in the center. So there's my block. So now I'm ready to put my back on it. It's a little damp. Now I am hitting this with the iron right here, but I'm hovering it over. I'm not actually touching it. I just want to dry it a little bit. So what do you think?
It's stinking cute. And it's just the bonus. It's not even the full quilt.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, so you have a question?
yeah, I want you to answer this one just so we can clear this up if anyone else feels they're not sure. Mary asked if you do a quilt, is it done like a quilt as you go? So I think she's just trying to figure out our method, or is there an alternative way, more traditional? So our designs, maybe you can speak to that.
I'm trying to. So our designs they're really not quilt as you go. Well, it depends on how they're put it together. We have different ways of putting it together. So the way this particular quilt, the barn quilt, is put together, you make your entire top. If you choose to do the optional edge to edge on the back, you do that next. And then you put the two together, wrong sides together, and stitch in the ditch. So that might be what would be considered more traditional. However, really nothing we do here is really that traditional. But that's how this particular quilt is put together. Now we do have some quilts where you're putting the back on each block as you go. And that I think would be considered quilt as you go, because then you have to put sashing on the back to cover up the raw edges. So hopefully that answers your question, Mary.
Okay, and then someone else asked, what does the back of the quilt look like? I do have that edge to edge picture that I can pull up in a slide. But I think truly for this quilt, this is what it'll look like if you use this option, right?
Right.
I'm going to put you big on the screen.
Yeah. So this is a small sample of what the back will look like. This is your edge to edge design. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the files that come with the edge to edge design, because there's actually 4 different files. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But I just made a small version of that to put on the back of my pillow that I'm making yesterday and today. So, and then you'll see this, and you'll also see, you might see a stitch in the ditch. Now, to stitch in the ditch in between all the blocks, we did use just a monopoly thread, so it's very hard to see the stitch in the ditch. I could show you the back of these quilts, but you can't see it. Because you just can't. It's monopoly thread, and so what you really see is this. And you can, I chose to contrast this so you guys could see it, but on my other 2 samples, I actually kind of matched my back. Which is kind of a more traditional way to quilt, is to match the back, but this is kind of pretty too, especially for a pillow, to put that on there.
While you're talking, oh, I just popped the wrong comment in because they're coming in so fast. And I know that you said you did a facing, but and I don't know how far you want to go down this rabbit hole for this, but someone's saying, are you binding it after you do the edge to edge?
No, I'm doing what we call a facing. Hopefully you can see this. This is actually, let me use this hand. This is actually, traditionally you make your binding 2.5 inches wide, and that's exactly what this is. And then it's pressed in half, and then it's stitched onto the front. So you put your binding, or it's a 2.5 inch wide fabric. You stitch it onto the front, and then you bring it around to the back, and then I hand stitched it. And in the corner, I made little squares. We're going to go over this in our sew along as well. So you only have to put, hopefully I'm making sense, you put a strip of your facing here, a strip here, all the way around, and you stop it just short of the corner, and you put your corner piece on. You stitch around it, and you flip it around to the back and hand sew it. So it's actually easier than binding because you don't have to miter the corner. And
Nice.
there's no bulk in there because we stop short of the little square.
Okay. The other question I see is, do you purchase the backing design separately? And no, you do not. It is all included.
We
You're getting
never do that.
no, we never do separately. So there you go. Can January hurry up and get here? This is so exciting. Oh,
And
trust
Diane wants to know if we can do a traditional binding. Of course you can. Yes, you can do traditional binding.
Okay.
Mhm.
Marty asked a technical question I'm going to pass to you. What stitch length do you use for your basting stitch? I tend to do a lot of unsewing.
So by basting stitch, are you referring to my seam here? Because I use just the regular stitch length that when the machine turns on, I think it's a 2.4 I have it at. Because this is, I think that's what she means. If not, let us know.
Okay, and you answered this yesterday, but I see the question again, and it was with the edge-to-edge back, are you using battleizer? I think you were using something different on the edge-to-edge back, correct?
I am. I'm using something much thinner and softer because I don't want all of that thickness. Because the front I have battleizer and I have wool, and then I have this layer of batting on the back. This is from Quilter's Dream. It's their Poly Request Loft, so they're very thinnest. You can also use a good quality flannel, but I think you should pre-shrink flannel because flannel does shrink quite a bit, even the very best quality. So flannel also works well. Just a little something for the quilting to hold on to.
Okay. All right. Am I keeping you from any more demoing?
A little bit more, but I see a couple questions. Will
Okay.
batik work for the back? Absolutely. This is batik. I have batik on all of my backs here. They're all batik.
Okay.
Okay. So I just have a little more demoing to do, but I'm going to switch my camera.
All right.
If you want to.
Well, she's switching her camera. I want to keep going with the recaps from yesterday. Again, we are going to have a sew along. So you're getting a taste of it right now with the workshop. We love to do demos during the workshop days. But then we're going to dive even more into it. So this is really great to get started with. It's a nice, simple project, and we're going to step you through it in 4 live classes. This is also included in the cost. This is not an additional cost. So you're going to get both the quilts plus the backing option plus the 4 live classes. And we'll stream those classes just like we are now. The dates are on the screen, and so is the times. So yeah, and someone said, can January just get here? And I'm like, oh my gosh, slow down because I'm not ready for Christmas yet. But yeah, January's coming fast. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So again, it's one purchase, both quilts. You get the 3 sizes plus the 4 live classes. We do have the limited time bundle pricing, which will save you 10% if you bundle the design plus the 15 yards of battleizer. If you're in another country, get a hold of us. To avoid confusion, we're just going to stick with this right here. And if you're in another country, get a hold of us and we can get you something special as well. So the limited time pricing for the 2 quilts, all the classes, all the sizes, the backing option, and the battleizer is $192.15. So it's a great Christmas present for yourself. So that's the way you get it all, and you get the best pricing is to get the 15 yards of battleizer and the design. That will also get you this bonus, which is what Linda's been stitching over the past 2 days, and you'll get that for free. You also got a free gift just for hanging out with us. So the 10% is a nice chunk of change too. It's $21.35 when you have the battleizer and the design, and that does expire at midnight tonight. So if you're on the fence, now's the time to jump in and get it ordered for yourself. And I'll pop the link on how to do that in the comments. All right, Linda, I got your demo cam up.
Okay, so what I wanted to show you before I get into finishing the pillow, there are actually 4 files for the edge to edge, and I'm going to try to explain what you're looking at right here. So hopefully you can see that this is the separation. It's hard to see, but this is the separation from row 1 to row 2. This is one file. So this is your file 1. This is 2. This is 1. This is 2. So row 1 is 1, 2, 1, 2. Row 2 is 3, 4, 3, 4. And then you repeat 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's how they look. That's how they all fit nicely together. That's how they don't look like they're all going the same direction. And it's very hard to see where one begins and one ends. And the other thing I did with this one, there are some quilting people that do edge to edge, and I do like these. I've used them where you have an entry and an exit point that you have to line up. This one you don't. So it's a little bit beginner friendly, that you just get them in there, and if they're not exactly perfect, nobody's going to know.
That's
so
awesome.
I hope that makes sense.
It's great. I love it.
Okay, so here's my back. I just got a couple of, there was 8 different files on here that I stitched. It took me less than an hour to do this whole thing. I'm going to take my pillow front and center it over that. And it just fits perfectly. And then I'm just going to put a few pins in it. And I'm going to stitch around it, get it trimmed, turn it right side out, stick a pillow form in there, and hand sew it closed later tonight while my husband's watching. Is it Thursday? No, there's no football on tonight. He'll be watching something.
One of the nights that no football's on.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it open probably from here to here, just so I can turn it easily. So let me give that a quick stitch and I'll be back.
Marianne, I agree. She says she likes hearing if it's not perfect, no one's going to know. It's so true. I'm going to pop these dates back up on the screen while Linda's getting adjusted. And I just want to reiterate that these will be live, but the recordings will remain available. I know that's a question we get a lot. Margie, if you pre-ordered at the open house, everything should be in your account now, but you can always, if you don't see something there, just I'm going to actually pop Nina's information up on the screen now. So if you have any questions at all, because we have lots of different groups of people with different situations, it might just be easier to get a hold of Nina and she will help you out. We will make sure everybody gets what they need. You can either give her a phone call or shoot her an email and she will help you. Okay, and I'm also going to pop back up here our keyword for the day. We have $50 in store credit we're giving away again today. The keyword is trim. You only have to type it once. If you typed it already, you're good. And if you haven't, now is the time to do that as well. Here's that edge to edge again. I've seen people are loving this. Who's going to do the edge to edge option? See the comments going crazy. Trim, trim, trim. Yes. All right. Here's the sizing again for the Meadow Star. I would also love to know in the comments, are you guys planning on doing both? Or is there one of the quilts particular interesting to you that you're going to start with? Carla's doing the edge to edge. Yes. Perfect. Okay.
Don't be a chicken, people. Come and do the Y seams with me.
Come to the sew along and we'll yell at you.
Don't be a chicken. Okay, so here we go. We are stitched all the way around. I'm just going to give it a little trim. I just have to find my trimmer. My trimmer is missing.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I've got plenty of other rulers. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to trim this even with my cut edge of my 4 blocks I made. So just so you know, I'm doing the medium size of the bonus block, and I did the small size of the edge to edge, and it worked out really well. Okay, so that's all trimmed. Now we'll just reach in and turn it. Gosh darn it, I don't have a pillow form. Wish I did.
Tammy said Linda's thrown down the gauntlet. Someone else said, sorry, Linda, I'm a chicken.
I'm chicken. Oh, come on.
Somebody else said they're going to do it just so you're not alone.
You can do it. So there's my pillow back. There's my front. I did not trim my corners. We'll see if I regret doing that. Let's see here. Oh no, I don't think I will, because it does fill them out nice. I'll just pop them out a little bit.
It's so cute. Even the back, you can just put it the back way.
Yeah, yeah. So if your pillow, if you have a dog like me who likes to jump on the couch and dive, turn all the pillows upside down, the back looks pretty too. So there we go. So we'll stuff my pillow form in there and just hand stitched it closed, and it's finished. Or you could have bound it and just made a little topper. You can make a whole bunch of blocks and make a whole quilt out of it. But there we go. There it is.
I love it. Okay, now I also see a question from Judy, and she says, I have a silly question. There's no such thing. Can you just order the bonus at $15 to get a look at the designs? Yeah, that's a really great way to get started if you're like brand new and you're like, oh, I don't know. Yes, you can do that. It's $15, and we'll drop the link to order. And I also saw a comment earlier that someone said they could not find the strip stick on the website. It's all in the barn quilt collection. It's all right there. Everything you would need for the barn quilt, really. The designs, the battleizer, the strip stick, all the good things. So what else we got in here you want to answer?
Somebody asked what size pillow form, and I just measured this. I may have to make my own because it's 13 inches.
It's a cute pillow. Okay, let's see what Shelly has. When you go to put the back and front of the quilt together, will we sew 3 of the 4 sides, then flip?
No, I just put the backing and the quilt top, wrong sides together, stitched in the ditch, because the backing is going to be bigger than the top. The quilting extends a little bit beyond the top. That way, if something shifts, it'll all look nice in the end. So then we stitch in the ditch, and then we trim it, and then we do the facing.
Cool. All right. Someone else said they're in Ohio. Can I pick up my order rather than pay shipping? Well, I don't have them here in Ohio. Linda's in Illinois, and that's where she ships, where we ship from. So no, sorry.
You gotta come see me.
Yeah.
It's only about 5-6 hour drive. No problem.
Okay, here's a good question.
Hi, Benita.
Yeah. Yeah, she asked, the backing design only comes with the quilt designs, correct?
Absolutely. Comes with the barn quilt collection.
Okay, let me hide that. Do we need to buy the battleizer to get the bonus? Yes, it's a bundle bonus, meaning if you get the bundle, you get the bonus. That's how that works. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Anything else, Linda?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope everybody liked it, and I hope we don't have many chickens out there in our barnyard.
We're going to find out how many chickens we got. I'm going to pop the order link in the comments again, just so that if you guys want it and you want to save the money and the 10% and get the bonus, you can order. You can also order if you just want the design. You can get just the design too. And I see more questions popping in here. And then I'm going to get to the giveaway. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Yes, Carol, you can purchase just the pattern. I just put the link in YouTube where you are. So if you just click there, you can just pick and choose what you want. Okay, you can just get the design, or you can get the design in the strip stick, or you can get whatever works for you.
Thanks for not being a chicken, Connie. She says she'll be there.
Tammy's putting chicken emojis in the comment. I saw a question I wanted to ask and it just disappeared on me. Will you repeat this video? I missed the strip stick part. The replay will remain available, Wendy. And if you registered for this event, you'll also get an email later on today that will have day 1 and day 2. So you will absolutely be able to rewatch. Okay.
Somebody says, if I already have Battleizer, does the edge to edge come with it? Yes, the edge to edge will be on your USB for the Barn Quilt collection.
Do you have plans to develop more edge to edge designs?
If you like them, we will do them.
I think they like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of fun to do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to watch you do the sew along on that. Like that video, I'm excited to see. Okay, you guys keep the questions coming. I am, just for time's sake, I am going to do the giveaway. We will answer any questions if Linda sees one that she wants to answer, or if we get off here, we will answer you there. And I will also pop our customer service phone and email up again. So if we don't get to you on Facebook, we will get to you in person. Okay. All righty. Let's do a giveaway. All right. Our keyword was trim, and it looks like 153 of you are ready to see if you're the $50 store credit winner. That's a lot of money.
It is.
All right, Miss Colleen Emmerich.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, Colleen. Okay, so Colleen, what you're going to want to do is email nina@hoopsisters.com. I'm going to pop her information up there. Let her know you're our $50 store credit winner, and she will get that popped in your account. Again, if you have any other questions about ordering or what's included or, sizing, any of that, reach out to us. The best way to contact us is direct. We get a lot of Facebook messages and a lot of Facebook comments, and we don't want to lose you in the shuffle. But other than that, we're ready to go. This is the last day, and we're going to go enjoy Christmas and then come back in January ready to sew along, right?
That's right. And do some Y seams right here on our sew along.
Don't be a chicken. That's the hashtag, don't be a chicken. That'll be the biggest takeaway from day 2.
Right. Don't be a chicken.
All right, you all. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hear Nina's phone ringing, so you guys are listening and doing what you need to do to get what you need. So I love it. We will see you next Wednesday.
Okay. Bye-bye.